Hello, and welcome back to another Techtorial. Last episode, we discussed the basic in-meeting features. For today's episode, we will discuss the intermediate in-meeting features. This video will teach you more features which can help you have a larger depth of understanding on the many features of Zoom meetings provide for us. When entering a meeting, notice that there is a participant icon on the bottom bar here. It shows the total participants in the meeting, including participants in the waiting room, if you're the host or co-host. When looking at participants in the participants list, you can also see their activity, such as if they're on their video on, muted, and etc. If you hover over yourself in the meeting, a three-dot icon would appear on the top right-hand side. When clicked, it allows you to mute or unmute yourself, turn your video on or off, edit your profile picture, and to rename yourself. Note, this is only allowed in security settings, which will be discussed later in the video. If you are the host, you are able to ask participants to mute or unmute or request them to turn their video on. Note that this doesn't forcefully make them unmute or start their video. To do so, you can hover over the participant in the participants list and click More. These features will show up. You are also able to chat privately to the participant by clicking Chat. You also can make them host or co-host, or rename themselves by clicking the following. You are also able to give participants the permission to record and multi-pin. Lastly, you are able to put the participants in the waiting room, remove them, or report them. All these features also work for the co-host, but the only difference is that the co-host is only able to chat, ask to unmute, ask to start video, and report the host. If you look closely on the participants list, when you look at the bottom of it, only the host or co-host is able to invite other participants. When you click the invite button, this menu will show up. You are able to invite people from your Zoom contacts. You are also able to send or copy the link by clicking copy link or copy an invitation, which includes meeting ID, passcode, and the phone number. Another option is to send the invitation through your email by going to the email section and selecting which email address you are going to use. Next to the invite button, there is a mute all button which mutes everyone in the Zoom. When you hover over yourself, you're also able to mute or unmute yourself by clicking on the mute or unmute button that appears. The three-dot icon found on the bottom right of the participants list will show you these options. You are able to ask all participants to unmute or mute participants upon entry. You are also able to allow participants to unmute or rename themselves. You also can play a sound when someone enters or leaves the meeting, enable the waiting room, and lastly, lock the meeting. Did you know you can chat to other people in the Zoom meeting too? You can do this by clicking the chat icon and text your way through. You can select who to send your messages to by clicking this drop-down icon. Note that if you are in a breakout room, you are unable to send messages to other participants in other rooms. If you are the host or co-host, you are able to send messages to everyone in the waiting room. You are also able to send files in the chat box. If you are the host or co-host, clicking the three-dot icon allows you to save the chat and merge it to the meeting window. This means it moves the chat box to the right of the screen, like shown here. You are also able to select who the participants can chat with if you are the host or co-host. If you want to record a meeting because you find the lesson to be important, you can simply click record. Note that you need to be permitted by the host first to be able to record. You are going to record the Zoom meeting through your computer. Note that if you record on Zoom, Cloud, or online storage, it takes more time to render, and maybe sometimes up to days. But this feature is only available in paid Zoom accounts. Did you know you can also send reactions to be seen by other participants? This can make your Zoom more interactive and vibrant. To do so, click the reactions icon and select any emoji you want. This feature that we are going to talk about is sadly only available to host or co-host. This feature is security. Click the security icon here. When clicked, these features will show up. It allows you to lock the meeting, which means no new participants can enter the meeting. You can also enable the waiting room, which is for filtering on which participants can enter and others can't. You are also able to hide the profile pictures, which means the participants' profile pictures are hidden and only the names will be displayed. This also hides their profile pictures in other participant screens. You can also allow some features to be disabled for participants. Such features are sharing screen, chatting, renaming themselves, unmuting themselves, and lastly, starting their own video. You can also select which participants to remove. This essentially means banning them from the meeting. You can unban them by restarting the meeting, which now allows them to re-enter the meeting. Lastly, you can suspend participants' activities, which means you mute all participants, stop all video, stop all screen sharing, and lock the meeting. This also allows you to report the Zoom. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned new features from this tutorial. Stay tuned for next tutorial about Zoom. Leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. See you next time.